Hey, what's up, Ash?
Hey, how are you?
Good. You all right?
I am good.
Weather good?
Well, I know it wasn't raining as I came in here, but there's a couple down trees and stuff around here. So, um, I don't know. I was listening to the news and it said it just kind of moved through real fast, but it came through at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was sitting in my office and I'm like, what the heck? I did not expect that. So,
Wow. Um, are you going to have a PowerPoint or anything?
yep. So I'll start sharing it once everybody gets on.
Okay.
But I'll mute till we get started.
Just double check. You should have the ability to share screen. Is it letting you?
Let me check real quick. It sure is.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Ashley, can you hear me pretty good? You can?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Welcome in, everybody. We will get started here soon. We'll give folks a chance to log on. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started um, and respect everyone's time who is on here now. I do want to just acknowledge that we've had a weather event here in Northeast Ohio, and I'm probably going to assume that the number of people who registered for today's event are going to be affected by that and not able to get on. So those of you who are here, thank you so much. And I definitely hope that you're in a place where you are safe and comfortable. Um, so I just want to first acknowledge that. But good evening. My name is Ashley Evans, and I am the Vice President of Programs and Business Solutions at the President's Council. You are here for our first speaker in a series of speakers for our Rising Together, the Black Business Excellence Virtual Series. This is a series that we at the President's Council has put together to commemorate Black Business Month. And most of you are entrepreneurs, are thinking about entrepreneurship in some way. So we wanted to make sure that we were in a space where we highlighted entrepreneurship. We got folks together to really talk about Black entrepreneurship and the work that we all do here in the city and around the country. So again, I just want to say thank you for being here and welcome in. Just a little bit about the President's Council. The President's Council exists to empower, connect, and champion Black entrepreneurs so that our communities can thrive. We are a chamber of commerce that serves Black business in Northeast Ohio. As a chamber, we work to improve the social, political, and physical environment Black businesses are developed in that will catalyze success. We do that by creating educational and networking opportunities, providing human capital support to our members through our business solution suite and internship programs. We develop avenues to access capital through lending opportunities, referrals to our partners, pitch competitions, and entree to our LLC investment committee. As an advocate, we are championing the needs of our businesses and communities in partnership with our members. We raise a mighty voice to lobby for the unique challenges of Black entrepreneurs with federal, state, and local entities. Lastly, we also work with our next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs to educate them about the importance of supporting Black business while preparing for the future success in their own future ventures. The President's Council is a multifaceted Black business growth enterprise that serves Black entrepreneurs in Northeast Ohio. Tonight, we have LaRese Purnell, who's going to speak with us about how to build a strong foundation in entrepreneurship. And before we bring LaRese on, I do want to take a minute to thank our partners, which is one, Tri-State Corporate College, and the NAACP of Greater Cleveland. Without them, we would not be able to bring this to you today. I don't see anyone on from either of those organizations. If they do come on, we will give them a chance to speak and talk about the work that they're doing towards the end of our talk tonight. So what we are going to, just a few housekeeping things is that as LaRese is speaking, that we do stay on mute so that everyone can get every tidbit that he has for us tonight. He's going to talk about 30-45 minutes or so, and then we'll open it up for question and answer after he is done. So if you do have a question at that time, we will ask you to use the raise hand function in the chat feature. And then I will call and unmute you. If you don't want to say your question directly, you can always put the question in the chat as well. And we are going to monitor the chat as we go forward. So again, thank you. And I'm going to have LaRese go ahead and introduce himself. LaRese.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So glad to see you all for the couple faces I can see and for the ones I know that are listening. Good evening. I'm so glad to have you all on. I know, like Ashley said, we got a little weather challenges, but out here, but we ain't gonna let that stop us. I'm a spiritual man. If y'all on here, Nick knows once I get the mic, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. So, because I'm a spiritual man, the enemy ain't gonna stop what we have for tonight because we get some good information that we really hope will be impactful to your businesses that are on here. I know Ashley, I've been getting a lot of text messages about a passcode. So people are trying to get in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I actually like, the intimate group. Please stop me. And if you want to drop questions in the chat, please do that. And I will stop throughout and get, answer your questions. I want to be very interactive. It's no way in 45 minutes I'm going to teach you what I teach It takes me weeks to teach business owners right here in this community. But before I go ahead and share my screen, I want you guys to take snapshots of the screen, use this information, and make sure you apply it. Because a lot of business owners in our community, they go to a lot of trainings, and 5 years from now, they're still doing the same things they started out 5 years ago because we're not implementing the education that we're getting. So I would just challenge everybody on the phone today. Let's apply this work so that we can build businesses that really impact our communities. And I want to say, before I jump into my PowerPoint, thank you again, Ashley. I see Nick Perry, the president of the President's Council, on here today. I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to jump on with you this evening and be able to share something that I'm really passionate about. And thank you for creating this platform for all the other speakers that will come behind me, that I will share as well, to make sure that we support them throughout the entire month, because the President's Council puts together great programs like this to be able to provide you the education that will be impactful to your business. So again, this is just a kickoff, but there's a couple more sessions if you want to get the full scope to impact your business. So let's go ahead and get to work. Ashley introduced myself. As you guys can see, I'm sitting here in the conference room of my firm. I'm CLE Consulting Firm, which we are an accounting, tax, and payroll services firm. So again, like the saying goes, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. So the information I'm sharing with you, I am here to educate you and hopefully help you to make some impact. So, somebody come off mute and tell me you with me. Give me some energy. I know we all had a long day. I need to feel like I'm in a room full of people right now. So let me know y'all with me and let's get started.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right.
We're here.
Ready to hear.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, there we go.
We know what
Come
you
on.
bring to the table.
Come on, old man. Come on, old
Hey,
man.
everybody.
Oh, man. Look, they coming at me, Nick. Okay, let's go. Okay, so we got it. So what I've been teaching, and it's really important, again, I'm gonna run through these pretty fast because I only got about a half an hour. Then I want to make sure that we open up for Q&A, because again, we have a lot of information that I want to share, but some very impactful things that I think will impact you, that you can take. We're gonna go ahead and get started. And you didn't come this far to only come this far. So again, you didn't open that business and pull down the 401k, pull down your savings, tie it to your home in order not to build this business to become a future enterprise that will impact your family, create legacies, and build wealth for you. So again, go on mute for me, please. Please mute. If you just came on, mute so I don't hear your background. So couple tips, because I truly believe, as I'm teaching, please mute. If you're on the call, please mute. So if, again, what I want to do is I want to make sure that we talk about, the saying goes, if you have bad personal finances and without you guys coming off mute, you'll have bad business finances. So again, something I want to start with is just a couple money tips for business owners that are starting out, some that even are mature businesses that, I want you to make sure that you're keeping in mind as you're going down this entrepreneurial journey. One is you must keep track of your time. Because as a business owner, when you don't pay yourself, it's because you don't value your time. So I want to make sure that you're tracking the time for the things you do in order to implement and really get that business going. Make a monthly budget. If, again, only 23% of Americans actually have a budget that they use, not that they put in place, but that they use. So again, if you're not balancing what's going on in the house, you'll never balance what goes on in the business. Then it's building that emergency fund. So when that business has a slow month, and you got to pay those bills and you can't pay yourself, make sure you don't have to get in debt, because you've run out of capital. So again, next thing is back your data up. Now, and you guys might say, why is this important, LaRese? Why are we talking about this before we talk about business structure? Is because we talk about emergencies. We just had this weather take place. Something that we've been, seeing as of lately is a lot of clients are coming to us and they've been experiencing cyber attacks. And the reality is, if you don't have that information backed up, now you lose it. And if you're not willing to pay that ransom, you don't have access to your business. So I will encourage you, back your information up. If not on a monthly basis, I try to do it on every Friday. It's in my calendar that I back up the data in our company to make sure that we're doing that in a very timely manner. So again, back that data up. File quarterly taxes. And we're going to talk about taxes a little more in depth as we go. And I'm telling you guys, if you are right now making income and you're waiting to the end of the year, what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a place where you're going to pay more money and you're not going to either have the money and you're going to create where you're going to have tax debt. And the worst thing about tax debt for me, as I work with clients and teach in the community, is that you let that accumulate. So, and some of you guys, if I could see your face, you would shake your head. 1 year of owing money turns into 2 years of owing money, that turns into 3, 4, and 5 years, and you seem like you never get out of tax debt. And then save for retirement. One of the first things, and I'm gonna share this with you guys, one of the first things that I did when I opened my company was, before my partner and I paid ourselves, we created a self-directed 401k. So we made sure that we saved for our retirement even before we paid ourselves. And you may say, well, LaRese, I don't make a lot of money. I can't afford to do that. You can't afford not to do that. Because some of you opened that business 10 years ago and you're asking yourself, where did 10 years go? That time flies by like this. So make sure we're putting away for that rainy day. So last couple ones, and this is a really important one. And again, because these are things, and you may say, well, LaRese, why did you pick these 8? Because these are the conversations I have very commonly with a lot of small business owners in this community. You may say, okay, everybody talks about getting the renter's insurance, getting the commercial insurance, but nobody's talking about getting the disability insurance. So I see Ricky Allen on here. He's with the clinic. If you get hurt, Ricky, and you use your hands for your job and you have no disability insurance, now how are you going to make sure that you don't survive moving forward? So my wife, I tell her, okay, she does hair for a living. She's a stylist. If she goes out and falls off a jet ski, God forbid, breaks her arm, now she can't do hair. So with that being said, is make sure you have that disability insurance so it covers you. So then, because you don't think about how that impacts the wealth gap. If you already are behind, have no money saved, have no money invested, now you cannot work for 3 to 6 months. What is that going to do? It's not going to help you build wealth. It's going to put you further behind. So again, trying to give you coverage. And then the last thing I'm going to say is separate your business and your personal. And I don't care. You know, it may be some people on here that say, hey, I'm very successful. I have a profitable business. This is something that I experience and deal with businesses at all levels. I don't care if they're making $100,000 a year or if they're making $4 million. I see them come in here and they're mixing and co-mingling their personal and business expenses. And I'm going to talk about why that's going to be important. But briefly, you don't want to go get that access to capital, go get that grant from the President's Council. And then they say, hey, send me your business bank statements. And then you say, oh, I got to send you my personal statements because I don't have a business account. Or I haven't separated it. Now they have to see the Cheesecake Factory. They got to see the Dillards on there. They got to see, pinstripes on there. They have to see all your personal expenses. And the question I ask people is, if that is a structure you have, would you lend you money? That's a real question. Would you lend you money if that's a structure that you have in place? So again, that was just my introduction. I'm getting ready to kick it in gear now. And I want you to take a lot of notes, take pictures of these screens, invite your cousins and them to show up. So again, we had close to 100 people registered. I see some people are trickling in. So I appreciate you guys. I know the weather was a challenge. So let's go ahead and get started. The 10 Commandments. These are things that I believe if you put in place, again, I don't care what level, I deal with businesses every day, all day, and I see these things not getting done. So again, we talk about hashtag getting a legacy, hashtag building generational wealth, hashtag getting at the bag, but we have no structure. If you think you're going to get the bag and secure the bag with no structure, you're fooling yourself and you're not creating a legacy. So one is you must build the dream team. And we're going to talk about who that I used to in my book called The Power of 5. Now I call it The Power of 7, but we're going to break that down. establish the proper structural organization. Some of you, if I asked you, what is your structure right now? Everybody would raise their hand predominantly and say, I have an LLC. But the question I always ask is, why do you have an LLC? Why did you choose? Was it because it was the easiest thing to do? Your family or your friends or people next to you told you that's what you should do, and it cost you only $99? But we're going to talk about why structure is important. I mean, it's just like building a house. You build a house, without a foundation, the right foundation, what happens? It collapses. It collapses. So the same thing, develop a robust and solid business plan. The question I ask all of you on here is, I gave this example. I was teaching this weekend. I gave an example. I said, if I left from Cleveland right now and I decided I'm going to drive to Chicago, and, somebody come off mute, what do I need in order to get to Chicago? What do I need? Somebody tell me.
Transportation, wheels,
No,
Directions.
you need
Directions.
that. Direction.
A plan.
directions.
A plan.
Thank
A
you.
plan.
If I don't have directions, what happens?
You get lost unless you
You
know
might
the
get
route
lost.
already.
Get lost. Thank you. So you guys, very smart crowd, I knew. So if you don't have directions, I get lost. It's the same thing with your business. How do you have a business that exists and you have no plan, but you think you're going to get to the ultimate destination? It's the same example. So again, keeping accurate and real-time records. We'll break that down, and knowing your numbers. You can't be in business and say you don't know your numbers and think you're going to be successful, because that's what I call a hustle. Now, we're going to talk about continuous training and reinvestment into your workforce. Are you going to be the disruptor, or are you going to be disrupted? How to price your product, because if you don't price your product, then you don't care to create profitability. No price, no profit, or right price, not wrong profit. So either or. Embrace, implement, and invest in technology. We'll talk about that. Separate, again, importance I talked about, personal and business, and making sure you're paying your taxes. So let's break this down, guys. Snapshots of it, and let's get it going. So we say the power of 7. Who are those power of 7? That's your attorney. That's your accountant. That's your insurance broker. That's your business banker. That's your marketing professional, your HR professional, and your financial advisor. You say, LaRese, I can't afford not to have them. No, you can't afford not to have them. You say, I can't afford it. I don't make that kind of money. But I promise you, I'll give you a couple of examples. If you don't have that attorney, you will sign that 5-year lease, and the saying goes, grand opening, what? Grand closing. So because you didn't have that attorney look at that lease, you don't realize a couple of things. You locked into 5 years. You personally guaranteed it. Your business didn't stay open, but about 12 months. You still have 4 years left. So if you pay $3,000, at $36,000 in 4 years, that's $144,000 that you still have as a liability personally. But if you would have had that attorney work through that with you, they would have protected you from certain things within that lease. You signed that lease, didn't realize that you're responsible for the HVAC in that building. So now you move in, you didn't get it inspected. It's a 10-ton, unit, cost you $12,000. You're already in debt and behind the 8 ball. So again, making sure you let and hire people to do what they do. You don't pay an accountant to do your taxes. Now you wonder why you're paying the IRS and leaving them a tip. And your wealth is in your taxes, everybody. And we're going to talk about that. Insurance broker. You got to make sure. So many businesses I've watched in this community where they either got demolished, or they, had fires, or they had different things happen to them, and no insurance. Guess what happens? Now you've emptied the 401k, you've emptied the savings account, you put your house up as a personal asset, and now you can't even keep the business open because you didn't get the proper insurance. So again, I can go through all of these, but the power of 7 is the team. You have to have a money team, everybody, in order to do it. You can't be this lady trying to wear every hat, because eventually a jack of all trades, a master at none, is a saying. So again, either pay now or you're going to pay later, but I guarantee you're going to pay. So if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So build your team, and we'll talk more about that because I'm quite sure somebody has some questions. We're going to run. I'm going to take a couple minutes per slide, and then we're going to run through these. So take pictures. A lot of you guys, again, I asked, do you have an LLC structure? I'm going to go to the next slides because it talks about the differences on that. Couple things I'll say that are very important. LLC, you cannot be a W-2 employee as an owner on an LLC. You must have an S-Corp structure. And if you want to, line 23 on your 1040. Remember that line. And I want you to go back and look at your taxes. Line 23 on your personal taxes is what they call self-unemployment taxes. And you're going to see that figure. You never noticed it before. But as an LLC, you're going to see that figure on your personal taxes as an expense. But if you change the structure and you use tax strategy, that will help you to reduce. That's what an S-Corp does for you and allows you to pay yourself as a W-2 employee as, you know, the owner of the company. So again, just a quick couple things because I can't go through it in detail. Take pictures of this, everybody. Take pictures. You see your sole proprietor, your partnership. Couple things about partnership. Your partnership tax structure, it comes on a form 1065. S-Corp is on a 1120S. And the difference with that is what it calls a pass-through. This is really important. I want to leave you guys with some things that will actually impact your business. So an LLC and an S-Corp is what they call a pass-through entity, meaning that the income and the losses from that business ends up on your 1040, your personal taxes. So if I work, Ricky works at Cleveland Clinic, say Ricky makes $100,000 at Cleveland Clinic, then his business makes $100,000 that year in 2023. Now, Ricky, that $100,000 in profit, because he has what they call an S-Corp or LLC, now goes over to his personal. Now, what that does is it increases his overall taxable income to $200,000. That's what they call a pass-through. So again, it drives up the tax rate. We're going to talk about tax rate in a minute. So I want to give you guys that. Now, when you have a C Corp, that's on form 1120. Right now, a C Corp's tax rate is 21%. So again, but you should not change to these entities on your own. You need to get tax advice to make sure it meets your structure. So people jump in, oh, somebody told me I should do an S Corp. Well, you don't understand. You have to have a board meeting for that. You don't understand all the intricacies of that S Corp. So you got to make sure you have somebody who's giving you good strategic, direction with that. So again, take those. Now, the next thing is we talked about having a business budget and a business plan. Again, if you have, you have to have a plan in place, everybody. When you go to get access to capital, when you go to see the President's Council and you say, I need funding, well, we need to know where the business is going. Is this business scalable? Is it going to stick around? Do you actually have a plan, or is the whole vision in your head? I tell people even more than that. How can your employees invest in your future success if you're the only one who has the vision? If you're the only one who understands the strategy? So you must write it and make it plain so everybody around you is clear on the direction of the organization. So again, understanding your target, profit margin, we're going to talk about that. What is your current market position? Now, also, there's other components. So making sure that you get with organizations like the President's Council, where they have programs that they will connect you to technical assistance partners that will help you in the areas that you're weak in. You have the President's Council, you have the Urban League, you have ECDI, Jumpstart, you have SCORE. So there's a lot of organizations in this community, and the President's Council can help to convene and navigate that with you. So again, couple components of it. What is a business plan? Write this site down, sba.gov, sba.gov, everybody. And if you have a business and you don't have that plan after the day, that's your homework assignment. You can go to sba.gov, put the industry that you're in, and they will give you sample business plans that are aligned with your industry. So it can at least give you a template or something to work from. Because if you go to those other organizations, you got to do some work. They're not going to do it for you. You still have to do some work. But again, it's the saying I always say to people is, sometimes we go to the table too early, and then when we're ready, we never get invited back. And that's because we don't have the plan. So again, I just challenge you on that. So Ashley, do we have any questions in the chat? Okay, we're good.
No, we're good.
Okay, so we're gonna keep it rocking, y'all. Y'all can drop questions if y'all have them. I ain't afraid to answer them, so let's go. Okay. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So again, I'm talking about that managing money effectively, allocate your appropriate resource of projects, monitor your performance. You invested that $1,000 in marketing. Do you even know the results? What are the outcomes? Did people show up to the business? Did it increase your sales, improve decision making? So plan for the future. This increases staff. When your staff is clear that, hey, we're going to do this, it motivates them to be committed to that organization. So my staff knows, hey, we're going to invest in this new facility. So again, it gives people things to look forward to, get them things to buy into the organization, to see that, hey, we're moving forward as an organization. So again, now keep in real time. Now, this is where, I want to just say, again, it doesn't matter the level of business that I'm talking to, that this is so, so imperative. Probably one of the top 3 out of all of the 10 that we're going to go through is making sure that you keep real-time records, that you have a bookkeeper, or either you learn how to create some sort of system that you're able to track your sales, your expenses, and you're keeping your documents. There are tons of apps out there that you can download that will actually allow you to take copies of your receipts. So you can go and snap a shot, keep those for your records, because the thing people don't understand is the IRS is no longer taking bank statements, everybody. So you can think, well, I have my bank statements to back it up. I'm keeping it all in one account. But example I always give is, if you go to Walmart and you spend $800 there, and they say, we're going to disallow because we don't believe that was for a computer, and you have no, receipt. How do they know that you didn't stop and buy your kids some Pampers, that you didn't buy a meal for the evening, and you bought the computer? They don't know what's in that $800 transaction, so they actually need the detailed receipt in order to be able to back that up. So again, keeping your records, and there's a 7-year retention on receipts, because the IRS can go back 7 years in order to audit you. So again, 7 years on that, everybody. So let's go. Know your numbers. Now we're going to talk through the 3 financial statements. You have your profit and loss, you have your balance sheet, and you have your cash flow. Let's roll. Your profit and loss. Now, if I had you guys, I would ask which one out of the 3 is the most important. They're all important. If you would answer, they're all important, but I'll say, and we'll get to it, one of them is a little more important than the other. So profit and loss is going to tell you where you are at the time of you pulling that actual report. So it's going to give you where you stand at that time from a time perspective. So it's going to have your revenue, your cost of goods sold, what it takes, in order to, buy the products for the business. It's going to give you your expenses. Then it's going to tell you at real time, is there going to be a net loss or a net profit? So it's going to give you real-time data. So that's an important report. The next one is your balance sheet. Now, let me say, y'all say, okay, LaRese, they call me the balance sheet guy on my staff, because a balance sheet is where you possess all your assets. That's where I'm going to figure out the value of your business. So you can't have a restaurant and I look at your balance sheet. First place I go is a balance sheet. And you say, okay, LaRese, I own a restaurant. I put $250,000 into it to open it up. And I notice on there you have no assets. And I say, okay, what are you cooking on? And they're like, well, stoves, convection ovens. I got put $45,000 into my hood system. And then I say, well, why is that stuff not on the balance sheet? Because when you go to sell that business, the value of the business is based on your assets. Now, even more than that, banks will lend money against your assets. So if you have what they call account receivables, if you have a service business and you invoice your clients every month, banks will lend, depending on the bank, anywhere from 60 to 75% of your receivables. So if you have clients that owe you $50,000 they'll give you 30, to $45,000 of that, they'll give you, about 37,000 of that, in actual a loan or a line of credit to help that business. But you got to be able to account for your assets, everybody. Really important. And then your cash flow. How are you functioning? And this is a really important one because this tells you, are you getting in debt to keep that business open? So and sometime in our community, people don't know when to pull the plug. You will drain the 401k, the savings account, pull all the equity out of your home, keep getting debt, and have no structure. And what happens is, you close a business, now you have nothing. And then we talk about this wealth gap in our community. We wonder why, like by the year 2053, if we're not careful, the Black family will have a negative net worth. And entrepreneurs, this is even more true for you if you don't make sure that you manage the finances of your business, because you lose everything. And that's what saddens me when I see us close businesses, because I know that business owner did not just lose, they lost all of their personal assets in order, to maintain the business. So again, timing on that. I want to take a couple questions. Anybody got any questions? Drop some questions in the chat, and Ashley will let me know. Come on.
There is one in the chat already.
Okay,
Adrian asked, when should I create my financial model for funding?
So Adrian, great question. So that financial model should be built out before you open the doors. You should not open the doors of a business if you don't know what the financial structure or what they call projections. You either do a pro forma or you do projections to project out, just what it's called, to project out the financial performance of that business. So again, putting goals. What that is going to allow you to do is say, for example, based on your business, well, okay, I sell baked goods, I sell cakes. Well, I want to sell 1,000 cakes, the first, year I'm in business. Well, most people open businesses and don't have any projections on what the goal that they're trying to accomplish. So what we do is we shoot and open the business, but just hope it works out. And that really is what it is. We just hope. I hope it wins. I'm passionate. I love the model. I think I could be competitive, but I have no plans on how I'm going to get there. So I would just challenge everybody on this phone is before you open that business, put that financial model in place. And you're never too small. That's like telling a child they're too young to learn about money. You're never too young. If you said, well, LaRese, I only made $2,000 last year. Well, guess what? You still have to do taxes on that business, and we still got to know what those expenses are and then see where you put and allocate that money. So that's financial, impact to your bottom line. So again, keep doing that for us. So great question. So the next one is we want to make sure that we have, and this is really important. How are you in an industry and you have not been to a conference to advance your knowledge in the area that you say you're an expert at? That always baffles me when I sit down with a new business and I say, okay, how long you been doing it? 7 years. I said, so when's the last time you did training about, I did it right before I opened the business. So you telling me that trends and business has not changed in your industry in 7 years? Post-pandemic, even more. Again, if you don't become a disruptor, I guarantee you will be disrupted. So you must educate yourself in your area and find, areas, because one, you're going to learn from those areas. When you go to those conferences, you're going to get to meet like-minded people in the same industry that you can share benchmarks. So again, invest in that. I see a hand up. Drop it in the chat.
You just want to drop it in? Okay. Tamia, if you drop it in the chat.
Or she can come off mute. Go ahead and come off mute.
So, sorry, stuck in traffic, or I would have.
That's why I said it.
So my question to you, LaRese, is I know and I hear you talk about making sure you separate your business expenses from your personal, but especially when you're still trying to create a profit, how and really create like a business score for your in order to get credit cards for your business or get loans for your business. How do you keep that separate in that aspect? And then also if you could speak to a little bit with nonprofits and that structure as well.
Okay, nonprofit, I'll save today because that's a whole nother teaching. You taking me to a whole nother subject. But we'll get back to that one. But let me answer the question, the first question about separation of that. Now, it's necessary. One is making sure. Let me say from a simplistic perspective, people don't need to be in your business, but at the level they need to be in your business. And if I go see Ashley and she has a grant at the President's Council, and Ashley says, I need to see all your business expenses, you should not have to give Ashley your business, bank statements and your personal, because you're running them between both businesses. The same thing goes true to when you're dealing with banks. Some banks, to them, that is the first red flag that there's no organization in that business, and they will not do business with you because now they're afraid that you will take their capital and take it and utilize it for personal expenses. So, and then from a tax perspective, there's something what we call double taxation. So, for example, say you work at a job, right? And the money from your job goes into your personal account. But you are just starting this business and you have to use your funds in order to keep this business going. Because you just started out, you're just building, trying to get revenue going. So you take the money and you're using it from your personal account, and you're buying inventory from your personal, you're buying, everything you need from your personal. So let me say this. Then what happens is, what you do is, now when it comes time to do your taxes, you're going, and because you don't have those financial statements in place, you're accounting for that. If you're not careful, I've seen this happen. People will count for that expense, and they won't. What they do is called owner's investment, which is really important. So what they'll do is they'll count that as revenue that they put into the business to invest in the business, and they'll expense that. So when it comes to double taxation from that perspective, is if you put that on your balance sheet as a actual owner's investment, say it's $1,000 to me, you need to invest in the business. When your business makes $1,000 in profit, you can say, business A, give me my $1,000 back because that was a loan or an investment from me, and now it's not taxable. Most people don't do that. What they do is they make that profit and then they take that and it becomes an expense or a liability to that owner, and that's where it's double taxed. You were taxed on the personal side and you were taxed on the business side because you never create a loan between the two entities. What you've done is you looked at you as one instead of looking at you as two. The personal and the business is two. You lent the money from personal to business, so business should give it back to personal without it being taxed. So again, I would just say from a simplistic, I know that got a little complex, but that's where I see us giving money that we should not be giving to the IRS. And then the other thing is, again, it comes down to when you're applying for loans, you got to be able to separate the two. You got to be able to separate because they're going to ask for those business statements, especially when you're new, because they want to back up those financials and make sure they're accurate. Okay.
Gotcha. I was able to follow you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for the question. Great question. So now let's go to this. This again is, I would say this is the number one slide I have on this whole presentation. And I know we only have about 10 more minutes, right, Ash?
I'm so into it, LaRese, I'm not even paying attention. But yes.
Okay. So thank you. So we have, now let's go here, y'all. Product pricing. Some of you might have been on my page. My team put up this morning, my price, and your price is your price. My price is my price. Don't come to me and I tell you my price is $450, and then you tell me, oh, well, I had $300. Well, come to me when you have $450. And I'm being serious, but I'm being funny all at one time, because we have to set the standard. If we want to build good businesses, we got to respect people for their price. I see somebody on here from Manic Vanity, right? They're located in Maple Heights. We did a cash mob there last year. I never went in there, even though we hosted the cash mob. I never went in there and asked Larry, "Hey, Larry, let me get 50% off because I hosted that." He told me this costs this, that costs that. The price is the price. If we're going to support business, support is not asking for 50% off. That's not support, everybody. But on the flip side of it, in total transparency, I can walk into a business and tell they're losing money. And my wife gets on me because she's like, "Can we just go to a business and enjoy it?" Like, why do you have to analyze everywhere we go? Like, LaRese, just pay attention to the meal we're getting ready to eat. But when I see somebody giving away 5 pieces of fried chicken for $1.99, and I know what the cost of chicken costs now, I'm like, they're losing money. It is a loss leader, and it's impacting their bottom line. So again, unless you're a franchise that has 3,000 locations, you're buying at such a volume that you can control your costs. So again, understanding this, why do we run businesses? And we pay, and what we do is we get revenue in, we get expenses in, and whatever's left over, we get. When are we going to start to say, no, just like I train you guys and teach you in this community, I teach you, pay yourself first. So why with your product are you not paying yourself first? Why are you not saying, hey, and somebody asked, Adrian, I think asked earlier, when is it important to put a financial model? You should do that in the beginning when you're setting your price and creating the price. You can't do, and I'm going to use Manic Vanity because I see him on the call. I'm going to use him as an example. He opens his store, right? And he says, I'm going to sell t-shirts. Well, I see an organization down the street, a company, and DTLR, they sell t-shirts for $10. So I'm going to sell my t-shirts for $9 because I want to beat them. Example I want to give you. But he doesn't realize DTLR buys 1 million of those shirts. So they get that shirt for $1 a unit. Well, he gets the t-shirt that he has to print the stuff on for $4. Then he has to print, and the ink and the time and the labor and the overhead costs him $3. So now that shirt he's selling for $9, it costs him $7 to make. Well, he doesn't realize they sell it for $10, and all their overhead, the cost of the shirt, they still make $9 on each shirt. Now, the flip of this, and I want all y'all to pay attention to this. Well, because Cleveland, like today, we went through 3 different seasons in one day. It was sleet, it was raining, it was tornadoes. I hope everybody is safe out there. It was hot as heck. We don't know what season. So tomorrow, that means Larry needs to put that on sale for 50% off because it's snowing. So the t-shirts are no good no more. So now when Larry goes to put that on sale for 50% off, guess what the problem is? 50% of $9 is $4.50, but his cost was $7. So now Larry just lost $2.50 on everything. And the majority of his sales were when it went on clearance. Now DTLR, because they want to compete with him, they do 50% off, but they only pay $1 and still made $4. So again, don't ever price, the theme of that story is don't price it based on the competition because you don't know their bottom line. So stop comparing who's doing what down the street because again, their bottom line is different than your bottom line. So again, understanding I have this product. Okay, I see somebody on here, they have a child care center and they literally say, I'm going to charge $160. Well, I know all my costs are going to be $100. So I'm going to make $60 per child every week that's in there. All my overhead costs, everything. I'm going to have 500 units at $60. So at the end of the year, I'm going to make $300,000 or whatever that number comes out to be. That's what my profit margin is going to be. So you need to determine your profit margin before you get started. Stop waiting until you see what's left over. That's why we have happy grand opening, grand closing. Now, this is how I need y'all to break this down. And I'm going to wrap it up after 2 more slides. This is how we're going to break it down. You need the cost of goods sold. I have a shirt. Well, my cost of goods sold is my shirt, the ink it's going to take, and the labor. Then I have my overhead costs. Well, how do you break down overhead costs? Because Adrian, like you asked earlier, well, why do I need a financial model? Well, Larry's going to say, I want to sell 1,000 shirts a month. Well, his rent is 2,000. So that means for every shirt he sells, if that's all he sells, $2 is going to need to go for rent. So he has to bake that in his cost, $2. And then if he has utilities and say that's 1,000, so $1 for every utility expense, $2 for his rent, that's $3 for overhead costs, right? That doesn't include his insurance. I hope he broke his labor down, all that sort of stuff. So then he can really figure out what his cost. Until you break down every penny down to he buys a thing of ink to print shirts. Well, this is, say, 18 ounces. That 18 ounces makes 100 shirts. He has to know how many shirts does everything of ink cost him. You got to break it down that granular to figure out the real cost. And I'm telling you guys now, when you figure this out, and you hear my passion with this, when you figure this out and you stop giving your cousin and them discounts, because they should be your biggest supporters. And I'm going to tell y'all this, and get mad at me, y'all talk about me, dog me out, hit me in the DM and cuss me out, whatever. I don't give my family discounts to the restaurant, to Black Box Fix. And y'all like, why? Because my cousin and them is the one that will come in there and bring all 18 of their friends and eat off the menu. Oh, my cousin owned this, so we all gonna eat. He ain't even respectful enough just to order, a sandwich and sit his butt down and get other people to support. He gonna go up in there and be the boss. I don't even do that, so why should he do that? And he has a job, so why shouldn't he support my business first? So again, I always ask the question, if our family supported us, now some of y'all gonna think about this, we would be even more successful. Now, am I talking real? Maybe it's just me, because I always say your family supports you at the ribbon cutting, and then you ain't seen them in the last year. Now, they going to show up to the ribbon cutting. Oh, I'm so proud of you, honey. Oh, you doing so well. I'm so proud of my baby. And come in there and want the free food, and then they never come back again. So again, stop building your business and saying you're building a legacy. I'm better off charging them so I can create a profit. So then when they need me, I can impact their lives financially, because broke people can't help broke people. Always remember that. So again, understand your price. Stand on your price. If you don't hear nothing I say today, your price is your price. And I'll leave you on this before I go. My wife and I don't go in restaurants and ask for free products. People come, and I had to learn, and she corrected me on this, how to receive when somebody's sowing a seed. But I don't come in your place to get free stuff. I come in there to spend money to ensure it hits your bottom line. Because I remember, if Larry gives me a shirt, it costs him $7. So he didn't give me a shirt he got for free. He paid $7 to be a blessing to me. I need to make sure that he at least gets his $7. So again, just remember that as we're in August, National Black Business Month, that you go out and spend some money. And stop saying we gonna support everybody. We got to stop being selfish. Now, I'm beating y'all up a little, Ashley, and you might not invite me back, Nick, but it's okay. I'm gonna say this: you can't ask people to support you and come and spend money with you, and you can't even name 10 businesses that look like you supported this month. And I ask, is your doctor Black? Is your dentist Black? Is your landscaper Black? Is your construction guy Black? Is your barber Black? Is your beautician Black? Is your nail person Black? Is your insurance guy Black? Is your banker Black? Who's Black in your community? So again, we're here. I'm being intentional. It's August. It's our month. Every day should be our day. But I'm going to be intentional this month to challenge you all to ensure, stop asking for the discount. Stop asking for that. And let's make sure we circulate this dollar. So again, I won't beat you up about that continuously. But again, this is a couple technologies. Invest in technology in your business. Stop thinking you got a game changer because you know Chat GPT. It's been out. It's old. I was investing in that 3 years ago. So guys, that ain't the cheat code no more. They actually have AI for your industry. There is thousands of AI tools out there that you just got to do the research for. So go out there, look for those in your industry. Pull up your industry and say what AI tools apply to my industry and become experts at that so you can make sure you're the disruptor, not being the person being disrupted. So again, last couple of things, access to capital, because I know this is real important. I know I ran over 1 minute. I'm just going to go through this, Ashley, and I'm done. I need you guys to understand this was a good tool. So I've been working with Erie Bank, and I'm going to give you guys a couple of things to end out. Knowing when you're accessing capital, understanding, we talked about your team, understanding what's your competitive advantage? Who are your competitors? Stop thinking like, people say to be cute, I don't have no competitors. Yes, you do. McDonald's got a competitor. So what makes you think you don't have one? I know for sure I have a competitor. I have 3 in the same building. And I know what floor they're on. I know how big their company is. I know how many staff members. I know what services they offer because they're in the same building. I better know who my competitors are. So again, don't say you want to be great and you don't even know who you compete against. So again, understand that. And what makes you different? And I can't see all of you right now. So Shannon, when you're doing websites, why is your websites different? When you're doing graphic designs, why are you different? Is it the way you deliver the service? Is it your creativity? Is it the way you onboard clients? What makes you different? Stop thinking again that, we get so excited about having the title of boss, but it's very difficult to be a boss and be broke. And we got a lot of broke bosses in this city because of a title. And I'm not here to beat you up. I'm here to challenge you. The only way people change something in their life is they got to get angry. Y'all keep hearing me say that on social media because, y'all done been in classes. Y'all been taught this. Some of this stuff ain't new to y'all, but the reality is, why haven't you used it? So what are you going to do? Understand the barriers to entry. And then business plan, we talked about understanding that. How will you market your product? What is your market strategy? Last thing I'm going to say to that is how do you open a restaurant in a plaza with 7 other restaurants? That you got to make it make sense to me. Why did you open that with 7 other restaurants unless you're in a mall? And what you do is you fall in love with the deal instead of falling in love with the location and how it's going to impact your business. And the reality, did you think about when you move there, is your next door neighbor going to complement your business? So you moved a salon there, next door is a nail place. So that's a compliment. I moved a salon, you moved next to a boutique. Oh, that's a compliment. You open, a clothing store, I moved next to a photography studio. That's a compliment. So again, looking at when you're doing that, being more strategic. So now you can do partnerships with your neighbor. But if you move next to a restaurant, I highly doubt if they're a restaurant, they're going to want to partner with you when they're trying to fight for the same sales you are. Last thing I'll say about that, you as a new business owner, invest in that business and you're going to market it. Everybody spends money to market it in the beginning. So I'm in the plaza and I own a restaurant with 7 other restaurants. I market that business. Now, when that new person pulls in the parking lot, they automatically forgot what my name was because they got confused by 7 other restaurant names. So now what they do is they walk into the first door they get out their car by because it's raining and they just want to grab a sandwich. Now they didn't even come to the business that spent the money to get them there. So again, be more strategic on how you choose where to put your business. Last thing, you asked me about mixing the two. Would you put ice cream on your salad and eat it? That's gross. Oh, vanilla ice cream on salad? Yeah, I don't know about that. Well, that's how your money is when you mix them together. So let's go ahead and break that. Last couple of things I would say is you are not just creating this business. I must say this in August. This business, you thought it was just for you. I thought CLE, I was creating it just to have clients. No, this is about changing people's lives. Our businesses, we employ close to 3.7 million people as Black business owners. That's impact, y'all. So you created, yes, for yourself, your family, for your legacy, generational wealth, but it's also for your community. It's for us to help lift each other up. So again, I need you to be profitable so you can be impactful and help change lives. So again, I don't want you to leave a legacy. I want you to leave a legacy and not a logo. So if that's all you care about, the posts on social media, I got a dope logo, I got a dope mission statement. You can't leave that for your child. and think that that's going to leave a generational wealth or a legacy for your family. So take a picture of this last one. This is my last slide. Just a couple that are marketing tools on AI that you could utilize that can be helpful to you. Take a picture of these and take these courses, because marketing, if you don't have a financial structure and you don't market the business, then you don't want longevity in that business as we move forward. So you got that. Now this is the last slide that has a lot of resources when it comes to business plans, legal, interest rates, accounting, credit scores, business credit. So take a quick snapshot of that. Take that, snap that. If you're driving, be careful. It's wet out there. And you cannot send Ashley a bill after this. Pay attention to the road.
We ain't got it. We ain't got
So
it.
So, and if you on this call, you don't follow me on social media, shame on you, because I love you. So show me some love back and follow me on social media. Would love to connect with you. One last thing I'm going to say, Ashley, I just want to give a couple dates out, then we'll answer a couple questions, is on August 22nd, we have the Taste of Black Cleveland that will support 26 Black businesses that the President's Council is a part of at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So again, come out, support those Black businesses. That link is in our bio. And then I put up a post today that I asked you to tag a Black business. And Larry, I saw him on here. We cash mobbed him last year, and another business in Bedford as well. I'm going to cash mob a business this August, and I'm going to ask the community and Radio One, everybody to get behind it, to really support a Black business, and we're going to clear their shelves. And I need you guys to tag a business that you believe on Instagram that we should go out and support. So again, build a strong financial foundation. If you do that, you'll build a strong financial future. So again, I thank you for having me, but I'm going to answer some questions. Ashley, take it away. Thank you, everybody.
We do, LaRese, have a question in the chat from, where are we? Timothy. He says, I'm starting a new business and I'm using my own money to fund it. Should I write myself an IOU for every dollar used, or a loan agreement?
What you should do is, I would say keep account of that. And when you go, because if you don't have financials in place, when you go see your tax account, you should work with a tax account now and don't do your own taxes. So what they can do is put that as an owner's investment. So when you start to make the money, again, you can take that money tax free. So again, yes, keep all the records to everything, because let's be straight. I may not have clarified this. You're going to use personal credit cards. You're going to use cash, because when you don't have access to capital, or like I know I didn't have the rich uncle to go to and help me start the business, I had to use my own cash to get it going. But I did account for it. So when the time came, I made sure I didn't get double taxed. Great question. Next.
All right. Is there any other questions in the group? If not, I have one or two.
Go right ahead.
So I'll give you all just a minute to raise your hand here.
Can I stop sharing?
You can.
Okay. Good.
So LaRese, I'm gonna get a little personal.
Oh.
So this is a place I don't really see you often. You give us the demandments and get straight to the point. What do we need to do? But talk about your journey a little bit. How you started CLE, and even bring like the Real Black Friday and the importance of that. What got you started? Your motivation. What were your hardships and how did you overcome them?
Man, so I love when I tell my story and then I see people I know from back in the day. I see Lawrence on here, Larry, and so he can attest. He know me from back in the day on 143rd and Kismet. And so when I was a kid, and that was my big brother back then, and so he knows the challenges that I grew up, being raised by a single mother that dealt with a lot growing up, moving from place to place. And some of the story, he knows a lot of it, but doesn't know all of it. And it was a real struggle. All I knew is we didn't have a lot. And I remember back in the day, we would even, sometimes we had to share that pizza. Larry was the big bro. He ordered a pizza. That's how we ate that night. And sometimes that was the only way we were going to eat. So, it's people like that. And I can even say that on this call, he would be one of those angels I would talk about that made sure I was good. Then we ended up moving to Warrensville and he was around and we ended up moving to the same place at Warrensville. It's like we followed each other and we just became family. So just growing up, really a lot of struggles financially, and I make jokes about it, but it's serious that, I would come home and I always thought, as a kid, I had a lot of birthdays, but it was just, I didn't have lights a lot of times because we had candles so many times. And I'm like, okay, whose birthday is it today? It was like, that was how we made sure we could still see. And that's what really got us through. And one thing I would say, even through all of that, we loved each other. I think about his mother, June, that embraced me. My mother, embraced him and his brother. It's like, and it was all about community, but we struggled and we didn't realize how poor we were until we probably got older. Like we really didn't have no money. Didn't nobody have no money. And I think back about that. Why do the work today? And people they see your glory and don't know your story. And this is real. Like this really hits my heart, man, because, you get a lot of, and we family on here, so we're going to talk straight tonight. You hear people, a lot of naysayers. Oh, this guy, why does he do this? Why he do that? If I wanted to get rich, I'm going to tell y'all, I would have never started a real Black Friday. I would probably not be running this company right now. I would go and run somebody's major corporation and make a great living and have a lot less stress. But I never knew that God would allow me to open a firm that would actually become the respirator to Black businesses, because I never knew a pandemic was going to happen. So when our Black community didn't have no place to go, they can come to CLE. When they had nobody they can talk to and be honest and be transparent about their struggles financially, they could walk into this firm and not feel like, man, I'm being judged. Like LaRese got a suit on, he gonna look down. They know I'll be in jeans tomorrow night when they see me, and we all family. So I would just say to you is, the journey of growing up with a struggle really, motivated me to go away to school. And Larry, I give you a big ups on this. And very few times I catch him in town where he can jump on my calls. And so it's just a blessing that he was actually on here today, and has always been supportive. But he was one of the brothers that would tell me, you ain't going to do that. You're going to take your butt and you're going to make sure you do the right things. And he would encourage me. And I never forgot that, because I can only count on a few hands people who did that and really pushed me. So I ended up going to college. I ended up graduating. I got my master's and tried to live, a decent life, not perfect. But again, it was guys like him that really became my family, because we had such a small family, and they really supported and made sure they protected me. Like, people knew, Warrensville, Nikki on here, I see Nikki. People knew you ain't mess with me, or I was going to get Larry or Rodney. Hey, Larry, know who? Hey, we can laugh about it now. I'm going to get them, get my big brother. So, but no, it's all good.
All right, y'all, this is your opportunity. Get your questions answered.
So what if you forget to do your taxes and stuff? How long can you still
Hey,
do
get
them?
off of here.
I was just asking the
That's
question.
my stepson. Look, he's being silly. So no, it's making sure. So for your taxes, making sure that you actually have, get those done on a consistent basis, but keeping good records. That's what's important, because that creates a challenge, when it comes time to do taxes, is when people bring them in and they're missing so many components of it. You can't do good taxes when there's no good records. And people think, okay, bringing you a bank statement is enough. That's only the start. That actually becomes a challenge, because now we have to figure out what every transaction on that means. So again, keeping good receipts, keeping good bank statements, and keeping your financials in order, so it makes it easy in order to get that done.
Oh, that wasn't a question to you. Yes, this presentation is going to be sent out. So that was from Sierra. Is there any other questions for LaRese? So Tamia, your hand is up again. Go ahead, take yourself off mute.
I was wondering if you had any links to different people that you know. I know your firm does the accounting, but what about for attorneys or your financial advisors for businesses? Do you have any references that you could give to the group or email out or anything like that?
That's a great question to me. So what I do is if you call our firm and I'll drop our number in the chat, but I'll say it is 216-800-9021. And what we do is, because we don't like to stare, and I tell people, when you're building that team, make sure it's somebody you like. Make sure they're an expert at what they do, but also make sure it's somebody that you're going to like to talk to, because they become a part of your money team. And what I would say is what we try to do is refer them to 2 or 3 people from each industry. And because we don't want to stare people, and we want to make sure that they pick the person that, one, they have the connection with, they feel like have the expertise, in that. But I'm just going to be straight. Then I'm very select. So I took a lot of time, myself and my partner, LaRese, took a lot of time to figure out who our partners are. So we did a lot of due diligence for a couple years to figure out, hey, what companies do we really enjoy that are very impactful, that actually do the work, that actually will do the work and really treat our people with respect. Now, I'm going to just be straight with you, and I'm going to say this. I like to just talk real. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Let me be clear. And again, I told y'all, Ashley ain't going to invite me back after this. But just because they look like us don't mean they for us. Like Kendrick Lamar, they ain't like us. So I'm very true to that, and I stand on that. So it's, again, there's organization I've sent people to. They don't treat them with excellence. They talk down to them. They think a title drives them, to another level. But again, that doesn't matter. So making sure that you find somebody that you connect with. But I see Cosmo is on here that I've used. He's taught at some of my classes that we taught on entrepreneurship around investing. And he's with Equitable, and they're upstairs, one floor up from us right here in actual North Point in downtown. So again, call our office, and then we'll tell you and give you some references, to the different areas. Great question, though.
Let me
can I ask a
also
question?
add
Oh,
to
sorry.
that. That is essentially, to me, what the President's Council is here for. So we definitely are putting together sessions and information like this to present people that you can connect with. But we also have this particular program called the Business Solution Suites that we offer to our members. And through the Business Solution Suite, we help you to connect with your dream team and other folks that can do work in your business. And we also try to help to underwrite the cost. So for each year of membership, effectively, you would get a project from a person in legal marketing. LaRese is one of our preferred providers. So if you want to work with LaRese and his team to get your taxes and accounting done, we help you be able to do that. So make sure you tap in and connect with us too. And I'm sorry, who was that had the next question?
Hi, this is Letitia Naw of Freedom Enterprises Company. I actually don't know you personally, LaRese. I reached out to your business. Y'all didn't call me back yet. But I had a question about moving from LLC to C Corporation. It's just filling out a form, right? I mean, if you know what you're doing, right? It's just filling out a form.
Yeah, so everything is, in most cases, one, let me apologize. And I see Shar on here. So Shar, let's make sure that we reconnect with her. And I'll tell you, no excuses. We get a lot of calls, and it's, we put some things in place to better help that because, just being overwhelmed with calls as a business, which is a good problem, but it can be a problem. And so we've tried to hire to that. So, I want to apologize.
Oh yeah, no problem. But my comment was just
okay. So let me answer the question
about the moving from LLC to C Corp.
I got it. So let me go ahead and answer your question now. So that, yes, it's a form, but there's a lot of things that are just a form. And when people fill them out, they fill them out incorrectly. So I truly believe, even when it comes to filing a corporation, that you want to go ahead and sit down with either an attorney or your tax accountant to do that. Because first, it's not just about filling the form out. Is that the right structure for you? Do you have the right organizational documents you should have in place for that? Again, like an S corp, most people don't know you should have a members meet annually. Well, if you just filled out a form, you may not know you were supposed to do that and document that. So again, it's just certain things that you want to make sure are done the right way and make sure that it's strategically the right thing. So when you start making, changes to, whether you should be a corporation, an S corp, a partnership, hire experts to do that, because they're going to sit down and talk to your vision and make sure that you pick the right structure from a tax perspective, from a structural perspective, and then make sure you have the back end structure that's necessary to maintain that. Because yes, a corporation, again, you can go on, fill it out, spend, the $99 for it, get your tax ID number, but not utilize it and file those taxes properly, and you'll have bigger issues. So thank you.
Okay, and I know it's different levels of experience, so I shouldn't take that for granted. I also need to give a shout out to Cosmo. He presented to Vibranium Vibranium Investment Group a couple weeks ago, and just top class act. So we got a couple people reaching out to him, so I just needed to give that shout out. But I've heard great things about this group. President's Council, shout out to, I have to get down there to you guys as well. So I just want to say thanks for letting me be a part of this today.
No, thank you for coming on.
You.
Any other?
So yeah, we'll take one or two more questions here, if there are any, before we close out this evening.
I do have a question. So I'm actually an aspiring barber, and I just wanted to know, like, I have my LLC and everything already. So should I continue to have my business funded? I mean, well, not funded, well, kind of set up under LLC, or should I kind of change that? Because essentially, I want to, of course, open up my own barbershops and everything like that, but I want to be set up as a business as I'm cutting hair now, not just, as you said earlier, a hustle, but it's actually like kind of a business. I already have my business accounts and everything.
So that, what I would say for you, because you just gave me your ultimate goal, is opening a shop. Will you be a booth paying shop? Will you be a commission based shop? Even breaking down the structure of what that's going to be. So will you have employees, or will they be contractors that are within? So those are the sort of questions I would ask someone that's in that industry. But the other thing is, I said something earlier, and I want all of you on this call to hear me. One of the best pieces of advice I think that I've given some business owners when I started this firm, the first year, I would push people to get a self-directed 401k, Cosmo, or, and I would say, if you don't even pay yourself, put into that for retirement, because if you close that business, you have some sort of asset to show for it, and it impacts you from a tax perspective. If you ever hear the story that you see rich business owners, wealthy, well-to-do, that they take a dollar in their salary, but they invest all the rest of the money. That's called a tax shelter. And one of the things that we tend not to do when it comes to our businesses is we don't look for tax shelters, ways, remember the saying, reduce after-tax wealth, increase after-tax wealth, reduce tax liability. That is the strategy you should be doing in business, is how do we increase wealth? And so as a barber, I would tell you, my wife, who's a cosmetologist, and I'll say because she shared this publicly, has a 401k. She pays herself payroll every week. So she is set up like a business that is structured where she gets a W-2, where she gets, she puts into her 401k and her Roth, and she's paying herself so she can take advantage of some of the tax advantages. But then she also has the proper structure. So if she wants to go out and get a line of credit for the business or go get capital for the business, she's properly structured. But so she's an S corp. So again, I would just say, sit down with somebody, share your goals with them so they can look at your overall. Because some of these questions we're asking, they're very singular, but when we sit down and really do an overall assessment, we tell you, okay, you want to, you have no investments in place. You don't own a home. You want to eventually own a home. All those are factors to determine the structure and where you're trying to go and what you should have in place. So great question, though.
No, for sure. Appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. Ricky, I see you.
Ricky, I see your hands up.
You
He's on mute. You're
You
on
sound
mute.
real good though, Ricky. You saying something real good. I could tell.
We'll wait on you, Ricky.
There we go. I apologize. Guys, counsel, thank you so much. LaRese, thank you for always educating all. It's not some, all. For me being in the medical field, you hit one thing on the head. I am not looking to run a business, but I run a nonprofit of the library board. But you hit it right on the head. I brought in people who have the expertise on the board that does things that I can't do. I can bring people in. I can mingle with them and bring people in from the corporate standpoint. But I got an attorney on our board. He gives us free legal advice. He's a board member. I have the banker is the vice president for Huntington and Akron. She runs that portion of it. So when you bring people in to have the expertise, that saves you a lot of time too. The first thing my wife said when I was running this board and starting to run this board for the library in Summit County, don't put our funds with nothing with that. Because like you said, if you're getting sued, now you got your personal finance tied up and it can be a true issue. So handle what you need to handle the correct way, and you don't have to go back and try to dig out of a big hole. So thank you.
Thank you. And somebody did, Ashley, earlier, I just want to make a statement, asked about a nonprofit. And Shar, let's make sure that's a class that I have not taught yet in this community. And I think that's an important class to teach, is about structuring a nonprofit the proper way and how to create a financial structure to understand how nonprofits should be ran appropriately. Because, you know, picking a fiscal versus a calendar year, accrual versus cash, you know, fund accounting and all that sort of stuff. So I think that that's important, that we, you know, have that conversation about 990s and those strategies and, you know, building a strong board. And so what we're going to do is I'll make sure that that's something that we put, you know, as a priority, you know, as we move forward. So that'll be something you guys can definitely, you know, look forward to. So yeah, I appreciate it, you know, Ashley, for everything, you know, for this opportunity today, you know, just to even be on here. But I would ask, again, I will ask a personal favor. When you get a chance, if you don't follow me, go to LaRese Purnell on Instagram, tag a Black business that we should cash mob, share that post for me. I want to be a blessing to a business in August, because right now, all I keep hearing, Ashley, if you guys haven't noticed, you're going through neighborhoods and businesses that were there 3 years ago aren't there anymore. And they're struggling to stay alive. So it's going to take us to make sure we stay in business. Because if we wait for somebody to save us, we're going to be waiting a long time, y'all. So again, let's make sure we continue to support each other, take the education and use it. I really appreciate y'all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, LaRese. Thank everybody too. Just to, before you log off, I want to just give a moment that you all go through the chat. We have put some information and resources in the chat. First of all, there is information on how to get in contact with me. I have put my personal contact QR code in. If you have more questions about the President's Council, if you are a person that just kind of want to sit and talk about where you are in business, whether it's startup, or you're in the middle of a growth challenge, anything to that nature, I will freely sit and chat with you, just so that I can have a sense of where you are in business and then help you get to the places that you need to. So that again, is talking about, you know, some of our service providers, some other of our ecosystem partners, which are other organizations that provide certain skill building opportunities and etc. Sometimes it is just, I've found that a lot of folks have just like to sit and talk to somebody that can understand what you're going through. So I am the vice president of the President's Council, and definitely talk to entrepreneurs and people in business every single day. But I have and am in my own process as well. So just to be able to connect and network. I'll let you all know that this Thursday, August 8th, we are having a new members networking session. Our new members networking session is normally a smaller, more intimate networking where we really do introduce the President's Council and our leadership and our staff, so that people can begin to know us, especially those who have just connected with us. We are doing a karaoke event, so this is also too a lot more fun, a lot more interactive than some of your other standard networking events where there's larger groups. And we're doing that karaoke event at 6 p.m. at Academy Tavern on Larchmere Avenue this Thursday. Additionally, this is a speaker series, you guys. So we have some awesome speakers still coming up throughout the month. So we have Jeff Johnson, a journalist and strategist who's coming to speak to us about the connection between business and politics and what we need to think about, especially in this time, right? I know we've all been told that this is the election of our lifetime. I am one that believes each election is the election of our lifetime, and we need to be involved on some level, no matter where we are, party affiliation, etc. But our voices are very important. As a Chamber of Commerce, we are a convener in that way. We are the people that your government entities come to and says, well, what do Black businesses need? What are they saying? What funding structures are, how do we best help them? So we also are in a space where we need to know your voice. So make sure that you log on to that. That's on August 14th at same time. Additionally, we also have Lauren Miller, who is out of Atlanta, who is talking about building generational wealth. She's a second generation entrepreneur who has taken over her father's company and also has some other legacy stories in terms of the land that has been acquired through her family, and just has some amazing motivation tidbits to give to us. Then that is going to be on the 21st of August, virtually again at 6 p.m. And then we're definitely rolling into Taste of Black Cleveland on August 22nd. There are still a few other speakers that we might want to commit to, so stay tuned. Make sure that you are connected to our Instagram, our newsletters to hear more about that. We're just really, really excited about uplifting our community through Black Business Month, making sure that you all have the opportunity to learn, to grow, and we foster a lot of energy around Black business. Lastly, we also want to offer each and every one of you a free resource, which is our Verizon Small Business Digital Ready program. We have a partnership here with Verizon, and Verizon has an online platform for entrepreneurs that gives coursework and classes and even networking opportunities across the country to be able to, again, support you in your growth. That is a free resource. We do ask that you click on that and you register and use those resources at your will. What I will say is Verizon is very good at time to time with releasing grant funding as well through that program. I think at least about twice a year, if not maybe 3 times, they tend to announce a potential grant giveaway. And in order to qualify for those grants, you have to at least have taken 2 of their classes. And so that's on a national level. But given that we are local partners as well, Verizon and LaRese will sometimes call us and say, hey, do you know a business that can use some additional funding? It may be a smaller amount than the $10,000, or it may be $10,000. And we also need to know that you're using that platform in order to be able to recommend you to that. I will tell you that we will soon be announcing that one of our chamber members, Nana, I can't think of his whole business name right now, it just escaped me, has been awarded $10,000 through this program. And we are in the process of getting those funds over to him, and we'll be putting him out on the platform. It's Nana Specialty Foods is what it is. And he is also a person that has his products in the Myers grocery stores. So he's been doing really well. And like I said, it's just an example of where we are connected and how we're trying to reach out and uplift Black business. I'm going to just take a pause. I think that's all that is there. Again, I'm Ashley Evans, the Vice President. We thank you everybody so much for being here, especially on this evening with all of the chaos. You know, folks are in traffic, the weather, everything. This really meant a whole lot because you all took some time to invest in yourself. That is one of the points that LaRese talked about today in terms of trainings. You know, setting that schedule and making sure that you're working on your business, not just in your business, and that we're
Ashley.
growing together.
Ashley.
Yes. Is that a question?
No, thank you.
All
I didn't
right.
realize I wasn't moved through.
Gotcha. So thank you, everybody. Hey, Shannon. Yes, Shannon, I'm here at the President's Council for the folks who know me, and we haven't really interfaced in a long time at that point. Again, if you have any questions or want to get in contact with me, feel free to email me at ashley@thepresidentscouncil.com. So thank you, everybody. It's 7:30 on the dot.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Great job, all.
Thank you. Ending the call just to make sure everyone has the opportunity to grab the information in the chat. So I'm hanging on for you all.